Hello, I just wanted to share something. So I am currently on Koh Tao Island, this beautiful place. It's about 8 a.m. in the morning. You have to excuse my eyes, I have my eyelashes done and I've picked them out. So they look awful, so I'm like missing eyelashes. I don't know why I did that. I just thought they looked good on other people, so I thought I'd try it. And they did look really nice, but I've picked them out. Anyway, I wanted to share that 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, well pretty much 10 years ago, when I was 25, I'm 35 now, I came to Koh Tao because I had broken up with this guy that I'd been seeing for 2 years and my life was an absolute mess. I was a stripper. I wasn't really making much money because I was really sick. Playing music really loud here. I might go somewhere else actually. Yeah, anyway. I might have to go somewhere else because I need peace. I need peace. It's very loud. Can't be bothered to walk somewhere else. Those are the cicadas. They're up in this massive tree. I don't know if you can see this tree, but it's magnificent. Anyway, I came here 10 years ago because my life was a freaking mess. I'd moved from Brighton to London, saved up some money, and I came to Thailand. No, I'm definitely going to go somewhere else. This is too loud. Oh my gosh. Okay, everywhere I go there's noise because Koh Tao's really changed actually. It's so built up now. Obviously I came here 10 years ago, so it was like literally just like a few beach bungalows and one bar. Now there's like maybe 4 bars along the beach. There's like 2-story buildings everywhere. Loads of boats now. There was never this many boats before. So anyway, I came here 10 years ago. I was like heavily into drugs, alcohol. I was a stripper. Not that that's a bad thing, like, you know, but for me it was a bad thing. Like, for me it wasn't good for me. Working nights wasn't good, and the effect that had on my self-esteem and my view on men wasn't very beneficial. Anyway, it is this island and that yoga place I just showed you. Actually, there's a sign for it here, funnily enough. Is where I kind of had a spiritual awakening. So I decided to take these yoga classes and kind of go teetotal for the last little bit of my trip. The people that I'd met here who I was partying with, they'd gone home. All of them had gone. There's just me left, so I stayed for like, I don't know, maybe like another 10 days or so. And I decided to do these, I bought like a package of yoga classes. And when I was in one of the classes, I, for the first time, started feeling energy sober. And I had all these visions of me being a medicine woman, working with plant medicine, working with herbal medicine, like lotions and potions, and healing people like with my hands. And I also had the guidance that if I don't change, I'm going to die. It was a very strong feeling in me, which I had been feeling for a while, to be honest. Like, it got to the point, sorry, there's ants. It it got to the point in my life where I'd started hanging around with crack dealers and people who are wanting to people taking crystal meth and crack cocaine. Like, it got to the point where I had random people who I didn't really know very well, maybe I'd met them twice, come around my flat, stealing things from me and my neighbours, stealing jewellery from me. Like, these people were not my friends, and smoking crack in my kitchen. And I was starting to hang around with people like that more regularly. And I'd actually arranged with a friend of mine to go to Australia to go and try crystal meth. Like, it was actually like a really strong desire in me, because when you're in the drug scene, it just becomes so normal to take cocaine, to take ketamine like every other day, to take cocaine every time you go out for a drink or a meal, to pop pills every single weekend. You know, like, sometimes I would take up to 10 a night. I used to do things called party lines, where we used to crush up ecstasy, mix it with ketamine, cocaine, speed, whatever else, Pro Plus, you know, those caffeine tablets, mix it all up, mush it all up and sniff it. You know, it was recreational, but for me, sorry about that. Wow, there's an eagle here. I don't know if I just captured that, but a freaking eagle just flew down in front of me, dive bombed and grabbed a fish. Oh my god, that's incredible. I don't know why, but I just feel like that's really significant that that happened. That just felt like a blessing to see that. I actually feel really emotional. So anyway, yeah, so it was recreational, but it wasn't, because I was doing it nearly every day, like probably about 5 to 6 times a week I was taking drugs. And if I wasn't taking uppers, if I wasn't taking like recreational drugs, I would be taking pharmaceutical drugs to help me sleep. So I was taking like Valium, yeah, those kind of things, diazepam, same thing, but like tranquilizers, downers, sleepers, painkillers. So like, I was never really naturally down. Like, I was never really sober. Probably for about a good 2.5 years. And in total, like, my stint of taking drugs lasted 6 years. But it was really bad for the last, like, 2.5, 3 years. And it was, so I'd moved away from Brighton and I moved to London so I could save up some money to come travelling, because I needed to get away. Like, I knew I needed to get away. I was really, really sick, so I was kind of no use to this guy anymore that I was having sex with. Like, that's all it was. And so me being sick all the time, I was just no use to him anymore. And I had gone a bit crazy because I was so ill all the time. I was on medications. Hold on, there's like dogs. Doggies! And yeah, so I moved to London, started working in the strip club in London, Spearmint Rhino, and saved up money, and I came to Thailand. And so yeah, jump forward, this island, last sort of 10 days, decided to do this package of yoga classes, had all these the spiritual awakening. I was already quite woke spiritually, not gonna lie. That's one of the reasons I used to really love drugs, is because like it pierces the veil between dimensions and opens up parts of your brain that you wouldn't otherwise necessarily day to day utilize or access. Obviously you can access those parts through meditation, but I wasn't into that. I was part of the reason I loved ketamine and laughing gas and kind of those kind of tranquilizer type drugs is because I would have out of body experiences and spiritual experiences. So for me, like, drugs was quite a spiritual journey. So I was already quite woke spiritually, but I'd never really experienced it naturally, apart from when I was a child, which I'd completely forgotten about. And so when I was doing these yoga classes, I was experiencing energy flow and feeling energy completely sober, and like I started remembering when I was a child how I used to have out of body experiences like quite often, and I started remembering all these things from when I was a kid, like really strange out there things, okay? Little bird. Oh, you can't see. You can't see them, but yeah, so hold on. Should have come down here a bit earlier because it's a bit noisy. Those birds are so loud. They're having a great time. Yeah, so I can't remember what I was saying, but I just had this like proper awakening, and I knew that if I carried on the path I was on, I was going to end up dead because my body couldn't cope. Like, I was already really sick, just consistently, continuously ill, and it was getting worse and worse. And after this, I actually got diagnosed with precancerous cells on my cervix. And it was just such a massive wake-up call for me. And it was like, okay, if I don't change, I'm going to die. Like, I was an addict, and even though a lot of my friends, even like friends and family, wouldn't have necessarily classified me as that because it was just recreational, it was just a phase, it was just fun, it was just in my 20s, like, yawn, everyone goes through this, right? It's like so common. But for me, I was addicted because when I started college, like, so after this trip to Thailand, I actually enrolled to take a course in herbal medicine and naturopathy at the College of Naturopathic Medicine in London. And yeah, when I was at college, I was still stripping at the weekends and still taking drugs. And there was times where I would be on drugs and have drugs on me in college, because obviously, like, I'd be working nights and I needed to stay awake and focus. But then obviously I'd be learning about health and the body, and starting to have this deep respect, reverence, desire to honor my body, like this deep, deep respect for my body, like I'd never felt before. Because obviously I was learning about how all the systems and organs and tissues and cells and everything work in the body. Like, I never paid attention to that shit at school. So this, like, I remember just sitting in every freaking class just catching flies. My mouth would just be like, that is going on inside my body? Is that intelligent? Like, the cells in my freaking body know how to do that? The bacteria know how to do that? What? How? Like, to me, even though it was scientific, it was spiritual. To me, this was spiritual. It's like, how the fuck is this intelligence in my body automatically? Like, what is that? This is consciousness, right? I was just like, what's that word everyone uses? Shook. I was shook. Every freaking class, I was shook. I was just sat there like, whoa. And so, hold on, there's people walking past. So it was like my actions and my behaviors were not in alignment with the way I was feeling about myself and my life, and like this appreciation. I'd never experienced appreciation for life, for my body, for breath, for atoms. Like, we did like biochemistry, and we did like, I was really looking into like physics, quantum physics, and in the background learning about the law of attraction and all this stuff. I was just having this fucking huge awakening. I was going through deep depression as well, because I was realizing I have to change my whole life, meaning I have to leave my friendship group. I had to start to stop. And it was like the hardest thing. It was the hardest thing to do. It was to leave my friends. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done. One of the hardest things, maybe not the hardest thing, but I had to distance myself from everything I knew. I had to learn how to be human without drugs. Like, how the frig do I go out and socialize without drugs, without alcohol? Like, how do you do that? I didn't know. It was like a really intense time, and I couldn't stop. Like, even though I knew all of this, even though I wanted to stop, I still couldn't. Like, I still I couldn't. And so I kept carrying on. Like, it was like the resistance to stopping, but it was also like the cravings I would have, like, if I didn't take drugs for a while. Like, the feeling I would have would be like I'd be grieving it, and it was almost unbearable. Like, I know that sounds really weird, but it wasn't just the drugs, but it was the lifestyle, and it was my friends, and like going out and partying. And obviously I know you can do that sober, and I actually prefer that now, but at the time I didn't know how to do things sober. It didn't feel right. Like, reality, being sober, felt shit. It felt like everything would be better if I was on drugs. That was my philosophy. Everything would be better if I was high. That's how I felt. Like, after taking acid and after doing all these drugs, reality felt boring to me. I didn't appreciate, oh my gosh, I had no level of appreciation for nature, like natural reality. Like, it was like I needed to be high to appreciate life. It was like that. It was like nothing else came close to the feeling of feeling high. Like, I couldn't feel good about, like, if I was to see the most beautiful sunset, in the back of my mind I'd be thinking, this would be better if I was on Ket right now. This would be better if I was on acid. This would be better if I was on MDMA. This would be better if I had some coke. This would be better if I was drunk right now. It's like, that is delusional. Like, that's what drugs do. That's how it feels. It feels like, because it's such an intense feeling in your body, it's so, obviously, like, drugs do lead you to super consciousness and bliss. It's a quick fix, but the difference is that they deplete you, they are destructive, and when you reach these states of bliss and appreciation and super consciousness naturally, it's ever giving and ever nourishing. Like it goes on and on and on, nourishing you forever. And like it accumulates more and more goodness in you, whereas through drugs, it depletes you, it destroys you, it damages your body. So it's not true nourishment. Like it may feel nourishing for your soul, it may feel nourishing for the like inner child or inner wild woman, but it's not in the long run. So yeah, this is the island where I woke up and it just feels so significant to be here exactly 10 years later. Like I came here around the end of February, March 10 years ago, and I'm here now, and it's changed so much. And like it's not okay, so what I'm noticing about Koh Tao is it's a lot more party than it used to be. It's not like major, but it's a much younger vibe here. Like there's a lot of young people doing their diving, and it's a lot younger people than on like Koh Phangan or Koh Samui. But the mountains and the rocks here, like the nature and the ocean is crystal clear here. Like the other islands, the water's not crystal clear. And there's something about the mountains and the nature, like nature here, that's really speaking to me. But the vibe here is definitely kind of me 10 years ago. So it's just interesting to be in this energy, in this space. So I don't know, I just wanted to share this part of my journey with you, because I feel like I've just come so far. And yeah, when I speak about the past, I do feel emotional. Like, I think I always will, because that time in my life was so special to me. Like, I was really exploring and discovering myself and discovering new things and like pushing my limits and my boundaries. And like, I was kind of like testing my limits. I was very self-punishing as well, and like even though there's a lot of like negative around that time, the positive is that like I did learn so much from that experience. And since then I've just been on this journey of self-development and serving other people with the lessons that I've learned. I've been on this spiritual, sexual awakening journey, business, like entrepreneurship. And I knew, like, when I was studying herbal medicine, like, I knew I'm here to help women, empower women. Like, I knew that. Like, my purpose, like, started to really blossom when I became sober, when I just let that happen, start looking after myself, kind of putting myself first, listening to my body, listening to my soul, listening to my heart, and following my guidance, following my dreams, my joy, my pleasure, my passion, really following my passion. And that's what has led me to do the work I'm doing now. And we're about to go back to Koh Phangan because I absolutely love it there. The west side of the island is just a spiritual hub of people like me who are kind of like on this path and who care about the planet, who are vegan, who are, not everyone's vegan, but there's a lot of vegan restaurants, and just people who are really into tantra and yoga and meditation and self-development. And we're going back there to take a tantra training course in couples tantric massage, which I'll be qualified to teach afterwards. And I really feel like this is like just going to add to my toolbox and my business. I'm just like, cannot begin to tell you the synchronicities, the divine timing, the space I'm in now. I never knew it was possible to receive financial stability and freedom through doing something I love, through serving others and being authentic to myself. I never thought that was possible. I never thought that I would be a business owner, that I would have my own business, that I would be self-employed, that I had it in me to have the motivation to succeed, to actually be someone who values themselves and values life and appreciates every little thing. And the truth is, I still struggle with morning depression sometimes, just due to things in my childhood, due to things that I'm still healing. I've been on an intense journey. I was sexually abused as a child, and I'm not saying that to be like, oh, woe is me. I don't feel like that about it at all. I actually don't feel like that about it. It's not something that I feel needs to hold me back in life. It's actually something that, since I've unearthed it, has felt deeply empowering to me. And however, I'm still healing. It's only 3 years ago that I really, truly acknowledged what happened. And I'm still on a healing journey, and that's how I am able to help others, because I've been through it. I'm going through it. I'm not perfect. It kind of bothers me when people portray this perfect image. I mean, maybe I do that. Maybe you think that about me. I definitely don't mean to, because I'm doing the work. The other side of this camera, the other side of Facebook, the other side of social media, I hope that I come across that, I'm doing the work as well. I'm devoted to this path, and my life has become heavenly. It's like I'm living my dream life. I'm traveling the world with more than enough money, with the most amazing dream clients, doing the thing I am most deeply passionate about, empowering women with money, with their relationships, with their sexuality, their sex life, and spreading the vegan message. And to me, it's like I'm pinching myself that I've created this. And in a way, it all started here when I realized I have to stop taking drugs. I have to stop destroying my health. And I have to stop being unconscious. So yeah, I just wanted to share this. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to do Joe Dispenza's Blessing the Energy Centers meditation. Oh, a little feather. A little white feather just out of nowhere just came down right directly in front of me. I don't know if you saw that. That just feels really significant. A freaking eagle just dive bombed a minute ago, caught a fish, and now a white feather, just there are no birds with white feathers here. There's literally not. Okay, I'm gonna go. You might think that's crazy, but to me that feels significant. There's this guy standing behind me, I just don't know why. Okay, love you lots, bye.